Welcome back. You're with Expresso, only on SABC3. Going to be catching up with Joanne Strauss a little bit later this morning. Great to have such a wonderful array of guests this morning. But of course, on a Tuesday, we turn the focus onto youth sports, and what a month it's been for the juniors. Of course, the IRB Junior World Championships happening here in the Western Cape. And South Africa have made it through to the final. They'll face New Zealand this Friday night at Newlands. We want to see you in those seats. But now, though, let's recap what's happened over the last weekend in our schoolboy rugby.
Exams, holidays and pre-Craven Week warm-up matches make for a pretty low number of matches across the country. The biggest battles happening down in the Cape, where the Triple Crown decider was contested and the battle at Paarl became even more of an occasion. We'll start off proceedings out in the Eastern Cape, where Woodridge College saw off the challenge of Dispatch with a 19-12 home win. Kingswood hosted St Andrews in their K-Day clash over the weekend, the home side coming undone with a staggering 43-19 loss. Michael House and Kersney played out to a nail-biting 21-20 loss to the visitors, whilst Bishops overcame Rondebosch in a classic clash, 15 points to 3. Most school rugby focus was down in the Cape, where two of the country's top sides were ready to provide fireworks. In the first colossal clash over the weekend, Paarl defeated Boerant Landbou in a close match that wasn't completely reflected in the score, 38-13. As late as 10 minutes into the second half, this was still anybody's game at 12-6 to the hosts. But a touchdown by tearaway flank Jacques Vermeulen finally broke the back of the men from Windmill, effectively opening the door for three more in the closing stages, during which Landbou's only response was their one converted try. Across a couple of wine farms up in Stellenbosch, their bitter rivals, Paarl boys, met with Paarl Rus Gymnasium. The match certainly lived up to all the hype and went down to the proverbial wire. The boys from Paarl had to come back from behind after Paarl Rus led the match 10-7 after 17 minutes. The home fans' optimism was doused though when Tian Moton gathered a bouncing ball to go over the line. Once that try had been scored, it was one-way traffic until the very last minute, where Boys Shy threw the ball out and were penalised 10 metres from their line. The defence held out though, and they secured a memorable victory indeed. Not to be outdone, the Southern Suburbs hosted their Triple Crown decider and classic clash over the weekend, when Wynberg boys hosted South African college schools on a beautiful Saturday afternoon. Everyone present was up for the game, down to the younger supporters and, of course, future stars. Wynberg were favourites to win the match, but Sacs are not a team that pays much respect to pre-match predictions, having seen off some of the best in the land already. The game got off to a rather cagey start, with both teams trading penalties via the boot of Chris Smith and Sia Alum respectively. Wynberg, though, began to take the game by the scruff of the neck and camped themselves in the Sacs' half, winning line-out after line-out and mauling very effectively at every opportunity. The solid Sacs defence was put to the sword. Eventually, inside centre and captain Justin Scott scored for Wynberg, and really, that was the turning point of the contest. Referee Jonathan Kaplan kept having to blow Sacs up for ill discipline and basic errors. With the mounting penalty count, hurt bodies and raw passion out on the field, emotions were bound to boil over. Kaplan having to remind both captains that this is a game played in front of parents and is to be respected. From there, Wynberg dominated, and it was evident that the game plan was working at halftime when Scott spoke quietly to his teammates.
That's great play, eh? Discipline's excellent, guys. 1 or 2 slip penalties lost, but otherwise we're doing well, okay? The momentum's coming our way. Let's keep it going and let's stay clean, okay?
It was business as per the first half. In the second, and Wynberg were rewarded with a second try. Inspirational captain Cameron Calder had some harsh words for his Sacs teammates.
Now let's stop, carry on playing like this. We step up and stop playing Sacs rugby. I've had enough of this, boys. It's over now. I've had enough of this. You can't keep falling into the game plan every single time they touch the ball. We haven't touched the ball. Chris hasn't touched the ball. You step up. We need to play our game plan. Our game plan. This game's not over now.
The scolding seemed to work as Sacs started to play the rugby they and their supporters know they can. Eventually, they scored a try through 8th man Gino Luapini, and it seemed as though we may have to go down to the wire yet again, with momentum shifting in Sacs' favour. However, in the end, the gap was insurmountable and Wynberg held on for a very memorable victory. The school's celebrations giving us a clear indication of what the Triple Crown means to the boys. One positive Sax can take out of the game was the unearthing of Western Province Academy player Luke van der Smith, a brutal flanker that seems unstoppable when in fifth gear. I guess the only appropriate thing to ask at this point is, who are you calling a schoolboy?
Stay with Expresso and SABC3.